Listen to what he just said right here. All right, so this is Twin Day. Listen to what he just said. He said white people are not allowed in his village. Listen to this.
Hii ilikuwa barabara ya mzungu.
Blacks were not allowed.
Yuko nje.
Hata Nyahururu mzima. Sawa tadu.
I love stories with a historical twist.
Norima, nowhere. Mzungu, white. Okay? They're not allowed nowhere. You see how this country looks? This looks like somewhere in the middle of central Illinois. You have Africans here, African Americans. You have them here in America. They don't know, like, what their political outcome is going to be 2 generations from now. Because, like, there's no farming happening. There's no agriculture happening. There's no economy happening because you go to a store and you give them a nickel or a dime or a penny. It's going to go somewhere, wherever your largest importer is. And that's somewhere probably in China or Middle East. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it's going. So, like, again, you see how this country looks, right? They like to say, Africa is undeveloped. It doesn't have anything. But forget this right here, this little building right here, because we got too much of that in America. Look at this. This is what's going to sell. This is what's going to sell. This right here. When you look at the fact that they have trees, they have waterfalls, this means that they have a huge economy for not only water resource, but for natural resource as well. These trees right here, these trees can be exported for someone to build, timber homes. They could build shedding wood. This is how much natural resource that they have. This stuff right here, like, this is refined. This is a refined resource. It's really no value in it. Like, you have more value in this right here. Africa has plenty of that. America has too much of this. America has too much of this. America has too much of these right here, these cars. America has too much of cars and automobiles. And all of that stuff is imported. So the problem you're going to have with Americans is, who's going to get the contract of, saying that America is theirs now, China has the largest problem on the world. They have to figure out how to divide the debt. They have to figure that out. Because in America, you go to America, right? The people aren't healthy enough to work. They aren't healthy enough to farm. They aren't healthy enough to educate. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want someone who's from the inner city hood teaching your son how to speak English. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have we had problems of people going to Asia from Africa having problems with the people there? Because, the locals there in Kenya is trying to teach someone in Beijing how to speak, British English or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is what we're facing here in America. Like, all this wide space open, right? This is just not, you don't even need gym. Like, how they have like Planet Fitness, Bally's and all these gyms where you can work out at and use equipment. All the Africans have to do is just walk on soil. And you say, okay, what are you going to do after that? Like, Bally's, you can get a vendor machine and get a granola bar and some Gatorade. No, they're going right over here to pick some corn out the bush. Then you got fresh mineral reserves right here with the water, the spring water, the lake water, the pond water. You have fresh water right here. Up, you need to go wash up. Just take this alleyway right here, get down there, stand right here and wash up. You see, the thing about African is they don't really have, winter seasons. They barely have fall seasons. They really don't have winter seasons. So they can like, even with Africa, right? All they really have to do is do film. If they want to just run their economy, right? They can just do film year round. That's how much is happening in their nations. That's how much activity is happening in their nations. They can just do film year round. Then you have the poachers, right? The populace. You have the poachers who are able to, hunt monkeys, hunt rhinos, hunt giraffes, do all this stuff, like hunt birds, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can do all of this stuff, and that can be your film direction. That can be your film direction right there. How you have a film director. That can be your film direction right there. The outplot of a movie about Africa can always be about populist governments. You got the Mende, you got the Baka people, Yoruba, Igbo. You got the Twa, the Pygmy. You got so many tribes in Africa who live off the sport of poaching. Like, look how low this I don't even know what this is, but it sits. It looks a large home, but it looks like it's sitting low. You see how low it sits? Like, you look at the material that they use to build their homes, right? It doesn't take all this maneuvering of, I got to put the nail right here. I got to put the 2x4 right here. I got to put the 4x4 right here, the 16x16 right here. I got to do all of that. I got to lay the ceramic. I got to lay all of that on the floor, the linoleum. They don't do all that over there. And this is what I love about Oriental culture as well. You can just go somewhere and get, an assembly to put a home together. And like, in their countries, it lasts. It's because the weather is not bad. Like, you don't need you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have microwaves in their homes. They don't have like, what is that called? They don't have like air conditioners, air units. They don't have all that stuff in their homes. You know what I mean? If they need shade, all I got to do is come over here somewhere. They got plenty of shade. And like, nothing's wrong with their soil if you have this much green coming out the ground. This is why I don't understand this whole thing about why you got Americans trying to like paint Africans out to be somehow so primitive, because there's nothing wrong with being primitive. You actually want to be primitive because you haven't lost touch with who you are. Like, so if Africans are primitive, then what makes them, what are Americans? Secondary? Sedative? You know what I'm saying? Like, Americans are sedative and you got Africans that are primitive. Why would I want to be sedative? If you're sedative, that means you're always out of touch. You're always asleep. You're primitive, you're always in touch. You know what I mean? So it's like, listen to these people who always try to bash Africa and they don't really look at what's going on in the news. This is a news network. So if you don't know what's going on in Kenya, you don't know what's going on in Nigeria, you don't know what's going on around Africa. If you don't know, then you're going to always have this back view of things and it's always going to be distorted. Like, people don't really know what's going on in Africa. They always try to make it seem like, and a lot of that stuff is comedy, but, they don't really know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. You know what I'm saying? They really don't know. Like, it's places like this in America, but people don't even use it. Like, they're always talking about, I'm Native American, I'm this, but it's like they're not even using their natural resources. Like, for starters, like, at least try to reach out to Africans and like help them with areas where it's undeveloped. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even have to be in those areas where it is undeveloped because they got free travel in Africa. In some places, they have free travel. Like, it's just regular people who look like you and me who are walking through these places. And you see all this stuff that they have right here, all of this stuff. If this is September or if it's ending into August, all of this stuff is going to be drying up, which means you're going to have a dead season. This stuff is probably like this year round. From as much as I know about Africa, I've always known Africa to be just a place with just many resources. You know, because you got to think, you got to just put one and two together. By you not being on the ground and you not seeing how Africans live, you just got to think like Africans, they're always outside. Primitively, right? They're always outside. They're always under the bush. They're always under the tree. They're always washing up outside. Like for this water to be that mocha color, this probably means that this temperature that you see right here on this video, this temperature, this outlook, this outview, this outcast, this forecast that you see, it's always like this throughout the 12 months and seasons. For this water to be this color, you know, so really think about that. Great peace, Yakoki.